What if the smallest coin in your pocket held the power to erase poverty, rewrite destiny, and turn an ordinary life into unimaginable wealth overnight? Hidden among forgotten change in dusty boxes, rare American dimes carry secrets worth millions. These tiny pieces of history are not just coins, they are sleeping fortunes. One lucky discovery, one overlooked detail, and a single dime could become the key to a life-changing miracle beyond belief. In a world where history clings quietly in pockets and drawers, there exists the whispered legend of a coin so rare, so astonishing, that it defies ordinary value. Among the treasures of numismatics, the world of coin collectors. Few stories ignite the imagination like the tantalizing idea of a 1924 United States dime worth more than most fortunes. The dime itself is modest and elegant, a small circle of metal that once changed hands countless times in everyday life. But in the year 1924, an era before digital commerce, before plastic cards, when money traveled by hand, something extraordinary may have been born, a coin that transcends its simple purpose and enters the realm of legend. Picture the era, jazz echoing through smoky clubs, Model Ts rattling down dusty roads, the United States brimming with possibility. In the mint, presses beat like giant hearts, stamping out dimes day after day. Most were destined for pockets and purses, for shoe boxes and cash registers, but every so often perfection or error would slip through and become something beyond ordinary. Collectors talk about condition with reverence, as though assessing the purity of a gem. A coin untouched by time, with surfaces that gleam like mirrors and edges sharp as truth. This is the dream. And in the case of a 1924 dime, if such a specimen exists in absolute, unblemished perfection, its allure could be nothing short of legendary. But let's imagine something even more dramatic. A version of this dime that carries a striking anomaly so rare it has never been fully documented. A minting variation that slipped through the watchful eyes of inspectors. Maybe a doubled image unseen by experts, or an off-center strike that somehow enhanced its character instead of marring it. For collectors, these quirks are not imperfections. They are miracles. They are the hidden harmonics in the symphony of minting, notes that transform a simple coin into a masterpiece. A piece like this would not merely hold monetary value. It will hold the stories of time itself. And if you, right now, were to hold such a coin, imagine that cold metal resting in the palm of your hand. You would be holding more than currency. You would be holding history. You would be cradling the whispers of an era long past, compressed into a piece of metal no larger than your thumb. The beauty of coins lies not just in their rarity, but in the emotional journey they create. People have spent lifetimes chasing rumors of unique specimens, following leads through auction houses, private sales, and backroom deals. The thrill is not only in the potential fortune, but in the story of discovery. Some say that a dime of unparalleled rarity could fetch millions, even tens of millions. In today's market, imagine that, a single small disc elevating someone from quiet anonymity to unimaginable wealth. It's the kind of thought that makes hearts pound and minds wander into realms of possibility few dare to explore. Of course, with legend comes skepticism. Many coins are claimed to be miracles until closely examined and humbly reclassified. For every genuine treasure, there are dozens of hopeful imposters. But the dream persists, carried by the hearts of passionate collectors who see potential where others see only metal. In the numismatic community, rumors about rare 1924 dimes have circulated like campfire tales. Some claim a mint error so elusive it has been seen by only a handful of experts. Others whisper about pristine specimens locked away in private vaults, known to select few who understand their worth and their danger. Because true rarity is not merely about age. It is about survival. It is about being the one exceptional coin that escaped the wear of countless hands, that never slipped into obscurity, that remained untouched and perfect as time marched on. And if such a coin were to emerge, say at a major auction, under dazzling lights before the world's wealthiest collectors, the spectacle would be historic. Bidders would shout, paddles would rise, and the price could climb into the stratosphere. The winning bid may well rewrite the record books. But let's imagine something even more dramatic. You are the one who discovers this coin, not in a museum, not through inheritance, but in a dusty box of forgotten keepsakes. The thrill would be electric. The possibility is intoxicating. The potential to change a life or a family's future in a heartbeat. Still, wealth isn't measured only in dollars. The story behind such a discovery, the disbelief turned to validation, the anticipation as experts confirm its authenticity, becomes part of your narrative forever. You do not just hold value, you make history yourself. The true power of such a coin lies in transformation, the transformation of perception of destiny, of what one small, round piece of metal can mean to a human life. It is the ultimate reminder that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for the right eye to see them. So if you ever come across a 1924 dime that seems extraordinary, study it with reverence, protect it with care, and seek wise counsel. For within its gleaming surface might lie not just a fortune, but key to a legacy that only a rare few will ever understand. And remember this, legends are born where passion meets possibility. And the story of an ultra-valuable coin, seemingly ordinary yet potentially priceless, is among the most seductive of them all. For in the world of rare coins, even a dime can hold the power to change a life overnight. In the quiet corners of history, where metal meets imagination, lies the whispered myth of a coin so remarkable that it doesn't just represent currency. It represents destiny. Among the everyday coins that have passed through countless hands, the humble dime has lived a life of obscurity. But hidden within that lineage is a tantalizing idea of a 1925 United States dime, so extraordinary it could change a life overnight. The dime of 1925 belongs to a time when the world was still forging its modern identity. Jazz was weaving itself into the soul of America. Automobiles were becoming commonplace symbols of freedom, and countless pockets jingled with small coins that carried the weight of everyday commerce. Yet amidst these ordinary pieces, legend says one stands apart. Imagine holding such a coin, its edges cool and smooth, its face gleaming with stories untold. To the untrained eye, it might look like any other dime, but to the collector who knows the secret language of minting, this coin speaks with a rarity that defies belief. It is not merely old, it is exceptional. Coins are born in the fiery heart of the minting process, where colossal machines strike metal with thunderous force. Most emerge perfect enough for their time, and many are released into circulation to fulfill their humble purpose. But occasionally, something unexpected slips through, a tiny deviation, a subtle irregularity that the rest of the world overlooks. In the hands of the ordinary, this would be a curiosity. In the hands of a connoisseur, it could be a revelation. Imagine a 1925 dime that carries an error so rare, a misplaced symbol, an extraordinary strike, an anomaly that transforms it into a one-of-a-kind piece. Such rarity doesn't just carry value, it commands attention. The world of numismatics, that passionate community of coin lovers, is no stranger to stories of astonishing finds. Tales are told in hushed tones at auctions, around dinner tables, and in the private chambers of collectors who have seen things that defy explanation. This is the air in which our legendary 1925 dime lives. Picture someone discovering this coin by chance, a casual flip through an old coin roll, a dusty find in a forgotten box, or a chance inheritance that seemed ordinary at first glance. In that instant, between curiosity and disbelief, a life is poised on the brink of transformation. Then comes a moment of truth, the decision to seek expert eyes. Coins like this are not judged lightly. Specialists lean in close, lenses illuminating every surface, searching not for imperfections, but for proof of distinction. And when their words finally emerge, they hold the power to change everything. Collectors speak a condition with reverence. The whisper of untouched surfaces, the gleam of uncirculated metal, the pitch-perfect preservation of a coin that seems to defy time itself. In the rarest cases, such perfection elevates a piece from collectible to legendary treasure. Now imagine the world's eyes turning toward that coin. Auction houses would prepare grand events, banners unfurling, expectant crowds gathering. Bidders, known and secretive, would position themselves months in advance, driven by passion, ambition, and sometimes the intoxicating lure of wealth beyond measure. But this story isn't purely about money. It's about human potential. To hold such a coin is to hold a narrative that can inspire awe, open doors, and create moments that echo far beyond a single transaction. The emotional gravity of such a discovery is as powerful as any monetary appraisal. Some might ask, can a 1925 dime really be worth millions? In the realm of legend and possibility, the value of rarity is not measured merely in dollars. It's measured in wonder. What makes a coin priceless is not just age or scarcity, but the story it carries and the feelings it evokes. Legends of extraordinary coins ripple through time like silent waves, sometimes whispered, sometimes shouted in disbelief. Whether tucked in a grandfather's keepsake or found in a collector's display, the idea that something ordinary on the surface might be unimaginably rare thrills a heart. And let's not forget the human drama. Imagine explaining such a find to loved ones. Imagine the astonishment, the incredulity, the incredulous laughter that turns into awed silence as authenticity is confirmed. These emotional arcs make stories like this unforgettable. Yet behind every legend stands a community. Experts, collectors, historians, each with their own passion and their own interpretation of value. Some seek beauty, others seek rarity, others simply chase the exhilaration of discovery. In this vibrant tapestry, extraordinary coins hold a sacred place. For those who dream of such treasures, the journey often becomes more meaningful than the destination. The hunt, the study, the connection to history, these become part of a lifelong passion that enriches far beyond any financial gain. And the true magic of this imagined 1925 dime, it's not just that it might be worth a fortune. It's that it inspires us to look closer at the world around us, to wonder what hidden wonders might lie just beneath the surface of every day. So if you ever find yourself holding an old coin, take a moment to truly see it. Let your imagination wander. Let the possibility of discovery electrify your senses. For treasures are not always found in treasure chests. Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight. This is the allure of rare coins, the bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary, the place where history and possibility embrace. A single coin, small and unassuming, can hold within it the echo of human ambition. And whether or not any 1925 dime ever reaches such mythical heights, the story itself reminds us of something profound. That wonder can be found anywhere, even in the palm of your hand. In the vast tapestry of American history, small objects sometimes carry immense power, not because of the metal they're made of, but because of the stories they hold. Among these quiet treasures lies the myth of the 1930 United States dime, a coin whispered about in collector circles as something truly extraordinary, something that just might, be worth more than millions. From the moment you first glimpse this coin, something about it seems to defy the ordinary. Its silvery surface, once a part of everyday commerce, has transformed over time into a relic of wonder, as the years themselves have polished it into greater significance. This is not just a dime. It is an artifact that seems to carry the echoes of decades within its circular frame. The era of 1930 was a crossroads in America's story. The nation was reeling from economic turmoil, yet still vibrant with dreams of prosperity. In pockets and purses across the country, dimes were spent without a second thought, paying for newspapers, candies, calls on pay phones. But amid these countless coins, legend suggests that one unique 1930 dime emerged, a coin unlike any other. Picture the mint where it was born, the rhythmic thunder of minting presses, the clatter of dies striking metal, workers watching closely as each coin rolled out into the world. Usually, coins followed a predictable path, into circulation, into commerce, into anonymity. But sometimes in the midst of those thousands upon thousands of coins, something remarkable happened. Imagine a flaw. Not a flaw in the ordinary sense, but a singular anomaly so subtle and yet so distinct that it transformed the coin into something rare beyond measure. Perhaps an unusual strike, a doubled image, a misalignment mark that defied every known pattern. Whatever it was, it became the spark of legend, the signature that set this dime apart from its sisters. Collectors call these anomalies unique, but that word understates their mystique. A unique coin is a whisper of the impossible, a proof that perfection and chance can collide in a moment of minting magic. And when that unique coin survives decades untouched, its value becomes less about currency and more about legacy. Now imagine that coin, after nearly a century, resurfacing, not in a museum, not in a vault, but in a dusty drawer, forgotten until an eager eye discovers it. The finder may not immediately grasp its power, but when the shine catches the light just right, there's a moment of recognition, a heartbeat where normal life tilts toward extraordinary possibility. There's both art and science to evaluating such a coin. Experts trained for years in numismatics, the study of coins, scrutinize the tiniest details. They assess the surface, the luster, the depth of strike. In their magnifying lenses, the coin's soul is revealed. And when they declare it authentic in unison, the air changes. This is the point where dreams and reality touch. At that moment, the value of the coin becomes more than numbers. It becomes a story rooted in time, rare beyond imagination, and coveted by collectors who speak of it in reverent tones. Auction houses prepare announcements, galleries plan exhibits, and bidders, from the curious to the wealthy elite, watch and wait. But let's pause to ponder the deeper power of such a discovery. It isn't merely about wealth, though the value could soar into the millions. It's about transformation, the shift from ordinary life to a destiny no one could have predicted. Suddenly, the holder of this coin is at the center of a narrative that captures imaginations worldwide. For in the world of coins, a unique specimen becomes a symbol of mystery, of history made tangible. People from all walks of life, historians, collectors, dreamers, feel the pull of something rare and beautiful. This is why coin legends endure, why stories of extraordinary pieces are passed down like treasured heirlooms. And imagine the conversations. I found something incredible. It changed my life. It's more than money, it's history. These are not words spoken lightly. They are expressions of wonder, awe, and sometimes disbelief. Because when something of such rarity emerges, it doesn't just alter a bank account. It alters an entire future. Yet behind every legend is the humbling truth that rarity must be verified with integrity. Experts debate, records are checked, histories are traced. Provenance, the recorded lineage of the coin, becomes as valuable as the coin itself. It turns a rumor into fact, a myth into reality. Now, picture the auction day, the gleaming hall, the anticipation in the air, the crescendo of bids as the hammer rises higher and higher. Patrons hold their paddles like stakes in destiny itself. When the final bid comes, it may shatter records, sending ripples through the collector world. A coin once forgotten becomes the crown jewel of numismatics. But beyond the numbers, beyond the record books, lies the real enchantment of this tale. The reminder that even the smallest object, a simple dime, can contain infinite possibility. It can bridge generations, spark discovery, and become the focal point of stories that outlive us all. For anyone who dreams of finding such a treasure, the journey is part of the magic, the hunt, the study, the anticipation. These are the threads woven into the fabric of lasting passion. And whether or not any 1930 dime ever reaches true legend status, the idea inspires awe. So if you ever find an old coin, don't dismiss it too quickly. Hold it, feel its weight, imagine its journey. You may be holding a fragment of history, a link to the past, or even something extraordinary beyond imagination. In the end, the magic of a rare coin is not simply its value. It's its power to awaken wonder. And in a world often focused on the ordinary, that wonder is priceless. In the quiet hush of history, where treasures sleep and legends breathe, there lies the myth of a coin so remarkable that it seems to defy reality itself. A 1931 United States dime whispered among collectors as the grail of numismatics. A piece so coveted that in the world of imagination it could spawn unimaginable wealth. The dime, plain and unassuming to the untrained eye, carries within its compact form the spirit of an era long gone. A tiny witness to a world reshaped by time, it first entered existence in a year marked by both hardship and hope, the dawn of the 1930s, when America stood on the edge of profound transformation. In everyday life back then, dimes jingled in pockets, financed small pleasures, paid for newspapers and soda fountains and long phone calls. Most of these coins faded into obscurity, worn by countless hands. But legend tells of one, just one, that emerged not ordinary but singular. Picture the mint in 1931. Great presses thundering like the heartbeat of machine world. Workers tending to dies and blanks, each strike releasing a small silver disc into the river of commerce. Among these thousands, the unusual sometimes slipped through, a miracle of circumstance that would echo across time. Maybe this dime was struck with a rare variation, an extraordinary error, or a unique characteristic unseen in any other example. Perhaps its images danced slightly tilted, or its mint mark bore a curious signature of imperfection that transformed it into something extraordinary. To a casual observer, it might appear like any other coin, a simple circle of metal. But to those who listen to the stories hidden in metal and design, this coin holds a secret shimmer, a whisper of rarity that calls out through the decades. Collectors, those dedicated custodians of history's smallest artifacts, speak in reverent tones about condition, a coin untouched by the passage of time, as if it slept, preserved in quiet perfection, transcends mere value. It becomes legend, a miracle that time forgot. Now imagine discovering such a coin, not in a museum, not through inheritance or purchase, but in an old box, a dusty jar, or among forgotten keepsakes. In your hand, it feels ordinary, until your eye catches something extraordinary, a gleam that hints at destiny. The heart quickens. You study it close. Its surfaces are immaculate, its details crisp as if the years never brushed it. And then, the thrill of possibility, the knowledge that what you hold could be one of the rarest coins ever imagined. Experts in numismatics, those who had devoted lifetimes to studying these treasures, would lean in with lenses and wisdom. They would trace the curves of artistry, examine its strikes, its edges, its soul. And when they speak, their voices would carry the weight of validation. What follows could be a turning point unlike any other. An auction house might prepare gleaming halls, whispers of this coin spreading like wildfire through collector community. Eyes that have seen it all would turn, captivated by a story that seems almost too magical to be real. Bidding would begin. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. Patrons in formal attire, seasoned collectors, dreamers with paddles raised high. Each bid a testament not merely to wealth, but to the enthralling power of rarity. Some say such a coin could fetch millions in today's market. A millionaire's dream turned tangible reality. Others whisper, in tones of awe, that it could alter the life of its keeper forever, lifting them into a rarefied realm of financial wonder. Yet the true power of this coin, if it exists, is something deeper than a price tag. It is the story, the journey, the mystery. It is a thought that something small, overlooked by most, carries a universe within it. Through it, we are reminded that treasures are not always in vaults or mausoleums. Sometimes, they sleep quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone to look a little more closely, to believe a little more courageously. And for you, the finder, the experience would not be measured only in dollars. It would be the thrill of discovery, the wonder of holding history in the palm of your hand, the knowledge that you have touched something timeless. People would ask about it for years, how you found it, what it felt like to learn its true worth, how it changed your destiny. These stories, as powerful as the coin itself, would pass into legend. In the end, the magic of such a discovery lies not just in the wealth it could bring, but in the spark it ignites in the human heart, the timeless lure of wonder, mystery, and possibility. Because in the world of coins, as in life, the extraordinary often hides within the ordinary, waiting for an eye open enough to see it, a heart brave enough to believe. In the world of rare treasures, few objects carry the mystique of a coin whispered about in reverent tones, a coin small in size but vast in imagined value. The legendary 1936 United States dime. This is not just a piece of metal. It is a dream of every collector and believer in possibility, a tiny circle that seems to hold infinite promise. Imagine holding it between your fingers, its surface cool and smooth, its edges bearing testament to the decades that have survived. To the casual observer, it might look like any other old dime, but to someone attuned to magic of rarity, the moment they see it is electric, as if time itself leans in to pay attention. The year 1936 was a crossroads in history, an era of quiet resilience, when America was rising from hardship, when people still relied on coins jangling in their pockets for every purchase. In that world, a dime was everyday currency, small and familiar, but somewhere in the midst of ordinary circulation, legend suggests a singular masterpiece emerged. Most coins follow a predictable journey, Minted, spent, carried, lost, forgotten. Yet sometimes destiny intervenes in the minting process, yielding a result so remarkable that it stands apart. Perhaps this dime bears an extraordinary strike, a unique die variation, or an anomaly so subtle yet so striking that it defies comparison with any other. Collectors often speak a condition with almost religious awe, the way a coin reflects light as if untouched by time, how its contours hold the crispness of a fresh dawn. A coin in such impeccable state becomes more than currency. It becomes a window to history, as pristine as the day it left the mint. Now imagine that coin surviving decades untouched. No scratches from careless fingers, no fading from careless handling, no wear from countless exchanges. It remained hidden, preserved through fate or fortune, waiting for the moment when someone would finally uncover its true nature. And then one day that moment arrives. Someone opens an old keepsake box, rummages through what they expect to be ordinary coins, and there, nestled among forgotten treasures, gleams something extraordinary. At first glance, it might seem unremarkable, but something about it, a whispered design, a glimmer of perfection, insists on closer inspection. Heart pounding, the finder studies it more intently, under magnification. They see details so sharp, so flawless that disbelief wavers into awe. The experience is visceral, the kind of moment that makes your breath catch, your pulse race, your imagination explode with possibility. When experts finally examine it, trained eyes leaning in, lenses illuminating every inch of its surface, the air around the coin becomes charged with anticipation. Each expert's expressions shift from curiosity to astonishment as recognition spreads. This is no ordinary dime. This is something unique, something that defies easy explanation. And then come the words that shift the world. This is extraordinary. It is the phrase that ignites headlines, that draws collectors from every corner of the globe, that turns what once was hidden into the centerpiece of fever hunt for glory. In auction halls filled with anticipation, velvet drapes, gleaming lights, paddles raised high. Bids climb higher and higher. Tens slip into hundreds, hundreds into millions. This is not just purchasing metal. This is purchasing history, mystery, and the pure thrill of owning something no one else can claim. People speak of coin values in reverent hushed tones, but this is beyond reverence. This is legend. Conversations swirl about the rarity, the story of discovery, the improbable survival of a coin that should have simply been spent and forgotten. And for the person who now holds this dime, life changes in a heartbeat. Overnight, they become part of a narrative larger than themselves, a narrative about wonder, possibility, and the unimaginable fortune that a single perfect object can represent. Suddenly their name is in headlines, their story shared across social gatherings, their life forever linked to something that transcends ordinary experience. It's not just wealth they gain, it's place in history. The magic of this moment doesn't come purely from monetary value. It comes from the journey of discovery, the almost poetic confluence of chance and fate that brings forgotten treasure back into the light. Even those who don't believe in fortuna moments feel a thrill when they hear such a story. Proof that sometimes the extraordinary hides within the seemingly ordinary, just waiting for someone bold enough to look. And so this tale of the 1936 dime becomes more than a tale of wealth. It becomes a story people tell and retell, about hope, about serendipity, about how even the smallest object can hold meaning far beyond its size. Legendary coins like this fuel the dreams of generations of collectors and dreamers alike, reminding us that wonder can be found in the most unexpected of places, even in an old coin jar, amid loose change. For whoever holds this treasure, life becomes a story worth telling, grander, richer, and more thrilling than they ever imagined before. And in that moment, the 1936 dime stops being just a coin and becomes a symbol of possibility itself.